a very warm welcome to you. I trust your day is going well. If you stop by on this channel, it's because you probably care about parenting, children, character growth, leadership. So it's in order to say a warm welcome to you. My name is Aderonke Fashiru and I want to welcome you beautifully. Okay, before you start to watch any of our videos, feel free to like, make sure you subscribe, and after watching the video, would like to know your thoughts. Please share your comments. Let's know your opinion as well. You will be starting with the WOW event we had on Sunday, developing multiple intelligences in children. It was anchored by Pastor Femi Fashiru. I know you want to know his thoughts. He was practical. He was as real as you can get. Trust me, easy to follow steps. So I know you want to watch this video. Don't forget to share your comments after watching. Welcome.
We are honored, we're privileged to have a pastor, a role model to many. Pastor Femi has many grandchildren, non-biological, many grandchildren, so many. He has many other families. I mean, he's someone who I know that we're going to enjoy listening to. I'd like to crave your indulgence. Put your phones on silence. Give it maximum attention. We can do the meal simultaneously. It's supposed to be a wow time. And we're going to have a talk show afterwards. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hand you over to the very comfortable arms of my brother, my pastor, my role model, my mentor.
Of what the Lord is using you to do. I'm really, really proud. And this is a great gathering. And if some of us years back had this privilege and opportunity, maybe we will have done better with what we have done in our lives. So I envy each and every one of you for having this kind of a privilege. This is Hangout number 3. So you guys are so blessed and so blessed and so blessed. It's a joy to be able to contribute to the discussions that have been going on. Please forgive me, I'm going to probably jump in. I'm supposed to be speaking on family ideologies as well as developing multiple intelligence in our children. That one, I will slide into it, and I know that Mrs. Yeah, but she's fashion too. I know she's a little bit tired. This is my 4th meeting today. Of course, it's Sunday. Sunday is my work day. So I started my day actively working, not counting the dressing time and all that. I started 7:30. And it's been one meeting or the other. I just rushed from one, left them just to be here. So I promise that I won't speak for long, but I pray that what I would say will make sense. So I want to start with the controversy, and I feel from my brother over there, Mr. Oyeshino Fashiru somehow. Alright, since we are all Fashiru clan, okay? I share your sentiment, and like I said, it's a controversy. It's not basically going against your thoughts, but it's just for you to know that there is this still part of our world that is still confused about that. It's an ideology. I've been part of policy making, all right, and it's like when something seems to be a disadvantage in one way, sometimes policymakers, they try to do something to counter that without having a holistic view of everything. What I've heard about cancelling the positioning, it's about those who have been scoring Odo. I've not heard about the effect really on the person that has been scoring first. I was sandwiched between two brothers who were very, very brilliant in school when we were young. They would come with first. My elder brother would come with first. My younger brother would come with first. And I would come with, I also had one as well. So my usual score was 11. And the truth of the matter is, but for my siblings, But for my siblings, I would have been complacent. That's the truth of the matter. Because it wasn't as if I was dull, but I wasn't just first. So they present their report card and it was first. I will present mine and it was 11th. And my parents will make me see, because of the positioning, they will make me see that you still have to try. I could do better. I knew I could do better. When they were reading, I wouldn't read because I love to play. But somewhere in life, I knew that at some point I had to do better, because nobody sugarcoated anything for me. I understand the perception from the person who will feel bad because the person hasn't done well. This new policy seems to want the person who hasn't done well to feel good. The real life after education, because life does not stop in the school. School is supposed to prepare us for life. I understand collaboration. I understand the importance of collaboration. There is hardly anything great that you can do that you won't collaborate with people. But life itself is competitive. All along the line is competitive. If you want to enter university, they will tell you that they only have 50 slots for medicine. 50 slots for medicine. And that is competitive in itself. The first 50. All right? So, the life is competitive. So what we are doing right now is allowing our children not to have that competitive spirit. Competition is good. In my days, there is something they call healthy competition. Not all competition is bad. So positioning will bring an awareness that in the rating that has just been done, if I'm fifth in position, then I have something to aspire to. If I'm first, I always want to be first. Once in a while, when my siblings, when they slide from the first to second, they cried home. They cried home. And anytime I slide from my 11th to 9th, I danced home. That's the reality of the world I grew up in, and that's the reality of the world I'm living in. I don't understand it. So when the school system refused to have positioning, that kind of competition with my children, I began to put a competition around them that will make them to strive to be whom God has called them to be. So if I may, I will just slide into what I wanted to talk about in terms of family ideologies, as well as developing a multiple intelligence in our children. And I thought the best way to deal with this is not to come here today as a preacher. Because some of you, by the time I begin to quote scriptures, I probably lose you. Because some of you say, well, I'm dealing with real life situation. Real life situation. Yes, I know that the Bible attends to real life situation, but it's better that we come from the known to be able to begin to go to the unknown. So I want to talk to you about my own family ideology. My biological children, 3 of them. The first one was born in 1998. Sorry, my arithmetic sometimes I just want to be accurate, so I don't want to guess their age. So we're in 2022, so he's 24. 24, still single. He has his master's degree in artificial intelligence after having finished his first degree in artificial intelligence. He's only worked for less than 2 years. But because God has helped me to put some sort of competitive spirit in him, he targeted that he will buy his own house even though he doesn't need it. before he turned 24. My son bought his house after having worked for less than 2 years. And I did not have one kobo to the purchase of the house. I only gave him money to add to whatever I was going to use to furnish it. He wasn't competing with anybody, but he was competing with himself. He wanted to achieve something. He wanted to make his dad proud. He wanted to not hide under the shadow of his father. He wanted to be a man of his home. I called my son when my son was 16 years old. He was about getting ready to go to England to study. So I let him in into one or two things I was doing in terms of business, gave him an idea of how much savings I have, how much money I have, how my business was doing. And I told him and I said, I'm showing you all of these things so that you will realize that someday you will have to help your dad out so that you can continue these things and even make it better. I was amazed at his response. He looked at it. He said, Dad, I didn't even have a clue that you're this involved in business. You have done well. But Dad, I can only promise that I will give your business interest maximum 20% because I also have my dreams. I have my vision. I have some things I would like to do for myself. But 20% or thereabout, I can commit it to you. He was only 16 years old. The kind of a portfolio that I thought a child would be so happy to say, oh, and you know, let's get going. The scriptures talks about our children, and it says that they are arrows in our hands. I don't know if you know what that scripture actually is talking about. Let me just put my phone away so I can show you. My mic may be out of my mouth for a couple of minutes. You know the bow of the arrow. You know the bow and the arrow. Now basically what the scripture is saying is how far your child is going to go in life depends on it depends on you. It depends on your family ideology. It depends on what you put into your child. Your child will only turn out to be a lawyer if you have sown the seed of him or her studying law in them. Something strange yet again is happening in the world that I've come to now know. Some counselors are saying that the children should be left alone to choose. That children should be left alone to choose the path of their career. I don't know anyone over here when you were 16, when you were 15. I entered the university at the age of 16 and I still lost a year in secondary school. I don't know when you were 16, when you were 15. I don't know if you could actually make a good decision about your destiny. What is happening today is that they are saying that let your child launch himself or herself instead of the parent being the one who has strength. Sorry, throw water.
Right, thank you.
Sorry, when I'm done, family, as it is to me, and I'm not a custodian of wisdom. I know that other people, but this is just me having my own block. And like I said, this is what I've practiced. So my children, they went to finish their secondary school in the UK and university and what have you. And they were going to have the ideology of the Western world. and they were going to come, it was a lot easier for my son because I was a trained IT professional. That is what I did. That is what I did before I started pastoring. So the boy basically saw my library. And in my library, what you find there is things that has to do with church and the things that have to do with IT. So he was quick to say, I want to be an IT person. But my daughter spoke a lot of English. Dad, I'm supposed to choose whatever I want to do. Dad, I'm supposed to choose my own path. And I said, look, when I was your age, I couldn't choose anything for myself. I couldn't choose the clothes I'm going to wear. Not to talk about me letting you choose the part of your destiny. That's why you have a parent. I said, I will choose for you when you are old. Go and choose for yourself. I don't know whether I sound like an African father. Yeah, but we're talking about family ideology. We are Africans. We're Africans. We're Africans. My first degree was in botany. If I did not do a career change, there is nobody who is going to employ me to come and do the horticulture. I won't have a job. So a child says, "Oh, I like animals, so I'm going to study zoology." You can study zoology, but please help me go to med school first. When you are done in med school, go and do your masters in zoology. But at least you have something that you can fall back on. In the Western world, if you don't have a job, you can fall on the queen. You will get gyro. But in Africa, can't fall back on no one. So we have to be careful that we are not importing these Western ideologies to raise African children. Our situation here is different from what is over there. Because most of the things that I hear, that I see around, that people are practicing, is what they download from the internet. That's not the real life. If the internet is anything to go by, Labour Party will have won the election in Ekiti State.
Oh my God! Exactly.
I'm sorry, I'm joking. I know this is a serious matter. But in my jokes is my passion. How far your child is going to go is not dependent on the school that your child attends. The educationist just told us now that character is what is big in their school. So she's looking for a child that has character and is willing to accept for them to develop their character. What she's saying, in other words, is that if they find the character of a child wanting to an extent, that child will not be qualified to be in their school. The responsibility of how far your child is going to go is not in the hand of your pastor. It's not in the hand of the Sunday school teacher. It's your responsibility. If you shoot with this velocity, that's what you're going to get. If you stretch, that's what you're going to get. If you put all your energy to launch, that's what you're going to get. So basically, your child will not become a doctor if you have not introduced your child to that field. Because by themselves, they're not brilliant or intelligent enough to be able to say, this is what is good. Whatever your child comes home to tell you is good is because somebody said it. And people have wacky ideas. Somebody interpreted the Bible. I was told that the person was smoking weed. So I called the boy. I said, guy, weed? Are you smoking weed? Is it true you're smoking weed? He said, yes, Pastor. Yes, I do. I said, why are you smoking weed? Because I want to understand, because there is a reason why something is happening. And the guy says that, but Bible says that everything that has been created is for our use. So, because it's for your use, so that's why you are smoking it. So, lion is for your use, so you can get lion and bring lion inside your room. You can't take something in that has capacity to hurt you or harm you. So a child, based on the level of their intelligence, will interpret things. But for them to be smart and be really intelligent, they need somebody who is intelligent, who is going to impart. Somebody who is going to share knowledge with them. And there is no better person to do that than yourself. Just that I must just quote a Bible verse. It's in the blood. Proverbs 22 verse 6. Mrs. Michael, right? She's mentioned it earlier on. Train your child in the way that he or she should go. When he grows up, he will not depart from it. That's it. Don't forget that as a parent. If you don't train them, then they have no training. When they grow up, they are bound to do anything and everything. Whatever you train them to do. I heard somebody saying you can give a mobile phone to any child, you just have to monitor. That's theoretical to me. It's theoretical. I would tell you as a teenager, when I used to go to clubs and go to parties, sometimes for 3 months, my parents thought I was sleeping in the house and I wasn't sleeping in the house. 10 o'clock in the night, my friends would come, drive some distance away from the house, tiptoed, knock on something, I know they're there. When my parents thought I locked the door, I didn't lock the door, I just basically closed the door. And what will happen is I'll go to party, come back like 4 before they wake up, but I dare not lock the door because they will hear the knock. So the door was left ajar all night for about 3 months while I was partying. 50 that I told my mom. She couldn't believe it. She couldn't believe it. Some nights, we will party from Osun State to Oyo State to Ogun State to Lagos State, and I will be on my bed 6 o'clock in the morning in Osun State. And my parents did not have a clue. My father, my mother, they were disciplinarians. But I did things they never thought their child could do. So there are certain things they will not look at that I was doing. So the best thing is not for you to think that the success of your parenthood will be based on monitoring. It has to be based on training. Training. Train them. Number one, as my children were growing up, from my experience, I trained them to honor me and their mother. You see, if they don't honor you and your spouse, they will find it difficult to honor God. Because you are the one who introduced them to God. You are the one who is going to tell them to go to church. If they don't honor you, they will not go to church with you. So I taught them to honor me and honor their mom. Since they honored me and their mom, if we tell them this is what you should do, at least, even if they do not agree, most of the time they don't agree. Like I told you, that's what I told you, they live in the Western world and they see us as African parents. And I always tell them I have no apology. It's when you have apology that they begin to think something is wrong with you being an African parent. I told them I have no apology. And I told them that as long as you are still under my roof, only one person is the boss. And that is me. And I told them in the UK, once you are 16 or 18 or whatever it is, you are considered to be an adult. And I said, not in my house. You are only an adult when you leave my roof. We had that understanding. And even though that was conflicting with what they found in the Western world, but because they've been trained to honor me, even though they don't like it, they have to comply. So fast forward to my son, who grudgingly complied with all of that. When he was going to buy his house, I would imagine that he was going to buy his house far away from the house so that he can at least have his freedom. But he bought his house 5 minutes away from the house. When I went in May, I had a look at the place and I asked him, so when are you moving? He says, when did I say I'm moving? He says, I'm not moving. I'm using the place for Airbnb. I said to him, I said, I thought you'd be tired of my rules and my regulations and my policies, that opportunity you have to leave, you will leave. He says, no, there is nothing wrong with your rules and your regulations. They were just things that helped us to be better people in life. He says, Dad, the truth of the matter is all the things you were saying, we were saying them in the people we went to school with. He said, do you know that when I was in secondary school, there were guys in there that were smoking? He says, everything you were saying, we were saying it. Even though we were like kind of not agreeing with you, but I've only been able to do what I've done now because of the way that you have raised me. That's what it is. When they grow up, they will come back and say thank you to you. They will come back and say thank you to you. By the way, happy Father's Day to all the fathers here. My second son sent me a text message I woke up to this morning. And he said, happy Father's Day, Dad. I love you so much. And thank you for making life easier for us. He's only going to be 19 in August. He has come to find out that the way, the ideologies that have been planted into him is to make life easier for him. Oh, there are strict conditions that are not like the 21st century. So we train them to honor us. In the school they went, they wanted to go to another school, but they had to honor us. The way they live their lives. For example, none of my kids will go and sleep over somewhere else. None of my kids will go and sleep over somewhere else. I don't know what happens in the house they want to go and sleep over. I don't know what those parents are doing. And I don't want to assume. Because these are the arrows that I'm shooting. I don't want anybody to limit them. Even though they live alone, I won't let them sleep somewhere else. They can go out with their friends. They have a time they will come back home. Not that they kind of like it. Barely 3 weeks ago, my daughter was still in tears when she did the video call to me. She's 21. A friend of ours was going to have a sleepover party. And she had told the friend, sorry, I cannot attend your party because my parents will not allow me to sleep over. She's going to be 21 in December. So the friend said to her, he said, but you haven't asked your parents. They know how close we are. And she said, no, I can't ask them because I know the answer they will give to me. And then the other person went and said, well, as a friend, I'm always there for you. You are never there for me. How will I hold my party and you won't be there? You are not there for me. And the other one was in tears. So my daughter was in tears. So my daughter called me and I said, what's wrong with you? He said, no, that is nothing. He said, what? Something is bothering you. He said, yes, it's my friend. I just spoke to my friend's birthday, this and that, da. He said, Dad, I'm not asking you to let me go, but I just want to just tell you what happened. That it makes her feel bad that her friend thinks that she is not watching her back. And I said to her, do you think you should go? She said, no. I know what the policy is. It's just that I feel bad that she feels bad about it. And I said, I'm still not going to let you go. Even though that I know that you understand you that you shouldn't go. Because the right thing to do is for you not to go. If she wanted you in her party and she knew that you don't go to night parties, she would do it in the afternoon. The problem is not yours. The problem is her own. She's just playing a guilt trip on you. And she understood. I said, do everything you can to let her know that you are a good friend, blah, blah, blah. But your family ideology is your family ideology. Until you have your own nuclear family, you have to abide with that ideology. End of story. I feel for her, but as a parent, I have to do the right thing. Oh, what's wrong with her going to night parties and all of that? Well, I lost a friend who went to club at night. I've never lost a friend who went to a party during the day. From my experience, personal experience. Personal experience. And I asked her, when did you see me go to night party? Train your child in the way that he should go. So the first thing that you must prioritize is to train your child to honor you. Honor you. Also train your child to also be free with you. Train your child to be free with you. Don't shut them up. Be prepared to have conversation with your children. Our parents will shut us up. I don't know whether you had a parent like mine. But these children of nowadays, they are expressive. Don't shut them up. Engage them in a conversation. If what you are saying, if the path you are showing them, if you are convinced of it and you are convicted, you will be able to explain to them. Apart from that, also teach them accountability. Teach them accountability. They won't like it. But never forget, it depends on how you stretch. That will depend on how they will end up. I teach my children accountability. Myself and their mom, periodically we go through their accounts. We know what they have, we know what they spend, we know what they spend it on. So even if we don't check in 3 months, they know that someday very soon we will be checking. Even though we don't live with them in the UK, they know that someday we'll be checking. So once they are conscious of that, as they practice accountability with us, they will grow up to practice accountability with their world. So it's not the 200 pounds that we give to them that we are after, but we are training them to be accountable. Number 4, train them to be responsible. Train them to be responsible. When they grow up, they will become responsible children. Train them to be responsible to people around them, responsible in school. Train them to be responsible even to you. Number 5, train them on the things that worked for you, your successes. I told you I called my son and I began to show my son stuff. The things that work for you, you need to train them. Like honesty. Explain to them. Honesty is not easy for those who do not realize that lies does not last. Once you train them, honesty, they will be honest. You're supposed to meet up with somebody, you ask the person, and you say, where is the person? The person says, I'm at Cantonment. You're at Cantonment right there. He says, okay, you are there. Okay, I'll meet you up there. And then you drive to Cantonment, the person is not there. Has he not become a liar? Tell your children lies will always be exposed, and when it's exposed, you will feel worse than if you had told the truth about something that you did wrong. Train them on integrity. Also, don't keep away from them the places where you have failed. Very important. So that the sour grape that the parents had to eat, the children will not set their teeth on it. Let them know. In this area, in that area, in that area, you made wrong choices. And this is the repercussion. So I don't want you to go that way. I want you to go this way. So it's training and training and the training. They gravitate towards what you do much more than what you say. Like Aderonke said, you have to be a great role model for your children. So the discipline starts from you. What you don't want them to do, you don't do it. Otherwise, there will be strife. Because when they are confused, Dad is saying this, or Mom is saying this, but they do it, but they're not letting us do it. Then it becomes a struggle. Train them to be responsible. Let them know that there are things that they have to do for you. Because at the end of the day, when you grow old, it's not the things that you keep for yourself that brings you joy ultimately, but the rewards of the way you have trained your children. There will be a time that is not the things that you have saved that will really, really be big deal to you. Not the car that you have used your own money to buy. But the fact that your child has grown up to be able to have for himself and his family and have extra to be able to bring to you as a parent. That's what brings you joy at that stage of your life. To say that the training I give to this child is rewarding. One more time, it's training on the ideologies that you understand, that you believe, that you have conviction in, that can make them as arrows that will go far in life, and not to rely on some internet ideologies that you don't understand, or some Western culture that we are not going to practice. I pray that the Lord will help us all. In Jesus' mighty name.
I think they take individuality serious, and they go at pace with which they believe that that child will get a success out of what they are doing, and then they are actually interested in that. And that's on academics. On character, there are some things that you cannot see or you cannot do, of which you will be told that daddy or mommy, this one is not right. So when I ask them, so who told you that this one is not right? Sarah, they tell me Miss Jenny, Miss Vash, Mr. Sam, and then you begin to know. I say, yes, they are right. This thing is actually not right. So in all, I think it's fair, it's good. It's a plus to my own home, it's a plus to my family, it's a plus to my children's life, and I can only pray that the Lord will continue to bless them in all that they do, in all that the manners and conduct crew do, and then the